The ABC Hoop Shootaround is back again for the 2016-17 season. My name is Derek Dockett, and as always, joined again this season by a former Valley Player of the Year and academic All-American, Adam Immonecker. Adam, how are things going, sir?
Not too shabby. We're in December. We got our first snow here today in Des Moines, so a little bit sad, but we're getting to the holiday season. Basketball's ramping up, football's winding down. So it's an exciting time. Hate the cold weather, but love getting in the gym.
Absolutely, that's what it's all about. The season's about a month old now. Things have gotten underway, and just this past weekend, the Valley had the Mountain West Missouri Valley Challenge, the two conferences pairing up for a series of games. Valley right now 5-4 advantage over the Mountain West,
Yeah.
with some wins over with Wichita State, Loyola, Illinois State, among others, on the winning side of things in the Mountain West Challenge.
Yeah, Indiana State and Evansville, the two other ones you mentioned, add up to five. And a really good win for Loyola over a San Diego State team that you actually told me right before we started was picked first in their conference, basically a unanimous choice. So a really nice win for Loyola. Porter Mosier and that crew maybe turning it around a little bit. Wichita State continuing to roll. And the other one that stood out to me was the Illinois State win over New Mexico. That's a team that historically has done really well than New Mexico Lobos, and Illinois State with a sizable advantage and a sizable lead. Love to see the MVC. It's always fun, the challenge with the Mountain West, because these are two pretty comparable leagues most years. Always nice to get out on top. One game still to go. Still have SIU versus UNLV, but I like where the Valley sits at 5-4.
Absolutely, a good chance for the leagues to build some resumes and get some good quality non-conference games under their belt. Let's focus on some teams right now. Let's start with Loyola. Newcomer Andre Jackson really making a difference for the Ramblers now. Is this going to help them sort of make their difference be a difference maker for them to jump into the upper half of the league?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Andre Jackson, how much can you say about him? 16 points, 5 rebounds, and only 25 minutes a game. So he's doing it with a lot of efficiency. And what that's allowing is Milton Doyle a little bit more space to operate, a little maybe less focus on Mr. Doyle. He's still getting 14 points, pretty much 5 assists a game. So as he's getting older now, more mature and all that kind of stuff, I think they're turning the corner. You look at their record and what Loyola has been able to do with some of the key wins early on in this season. Obviously, once we get to the Valley, we're going to know a little bit more. You don't want to overreact to November and December wins, but Loyola and Porter Mosier are definitely on the right track early on.
Wichita State right now still doing Wichita State type things, even with Ron and Fred gone. But watched them yesterday against Colorado State. Played very, very well in a on a road
Yeah.
game environment.
Yeah, I mean, 7-2 with two close losses to top 25 teams. How much more can you expect? So you lose Van Vliet, you lose Baker, two guys that obviously that hurts, right? But these guys just keep stepping up. What we've seen Greg Marshall do is really build a program, and it's so great to have in this conference. McDuffie's taken a step up; he's into a lead role now. Shaq Morris has had some really good games. He's such a strong low post presence that's really hard to defend. If you look across their roster, no player averages more than 23 minutes a game. So what that tells you is they're winning games, and Greg Marshall's doing a lot of experimenting. He's trying to figure out his right lineups, his right sets, how to get people involved, substituting a lot, and they have a lot of depth. A couple new guys that have been really good. Darrell Willis, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Deshaun Smith, 6 points, 3 rebounds, shooting 48% from three. And I really like the freshman Austin Reeves, 7 points per game, 53% from three. So they're getting contributions from all across the board. This Wichita State team is dangerous as always.
And finally, Northern Iowa, with some recent struggles of late, but
Yeah.
the Panthers are really playing a tough schedule the non-conference part of the season.
And so I think the one thing you worry about with this team is their ability to score and their ability to break people down off the bounce. But you look at what they've done. Big wins early on, Arizona State and Oklahoma. And how odd to play Xavier, the same team, twice within a week. So a really tough loss to the championship of the Tire Pro Invitational. But when they came back from Orlando, have struggled a little bit to get on the same track. Surprising losses, as you mentioned, to George Washington, or excuse me, George Mason in Wyoming. Listen, Jeremy Morgan is doing everything he can for this team. He leads the team in points with 15, leads them in rebounds with 7, assists with 3 per game, blocks 2 per game, 3 steals per game. What they need to find is somebody else that's going to be that consistent scoring threat. They create shots for others really, really well. They need someone that can create a shot for themselves, but with what we've seen them do and what we know about Coach Jacobson, we know that even though they're stumbling a little bit now, he's going to help this team find an identity. And by the time we get into February and March, they're going to be firing on all cylinders.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adam, for your insight as well. I look forward to talking to you again real soon.
All right. Thanks, Derek. Good to see you as always.
This has been the NBC Hoops Around, brought to you by Purina Dog Chow, always crafted in the USA since 1926.